The Bar Association and U.S. Democracy. December 18, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. The Bar Association is a guild, a European-style labor union. A bar association license is a union card. Bar associations are operating their foreign courts in this country as closed union shops. This is in flagrant violation of the Smith Act and Taft-Hartley Act, which are laws of the Territorial United States, published as part of the Federal Code. The Territorial Federal Code is not being enforced by President Trump as Commander-in-Chief, most likely because, he doesn't realize that it is his job to oversee and discipline these foreign quasi-military courts, b. they are using the municipal courts to violate the territorial law, c. people assume, wrongly, it turns out that members of the Bar Association would obey, and not evade, the law, d. all the above. Law is an occupation of common right in this country and always has been. Attorneys are not allowed to speak for any injured parties or to deliver hearsay evidence in our courts. Demands or provocations demanding that anyone procure an bar attorney or that they accept a public defender are part of the evidence that these foreign courts are engaged in attempted human trafficking and constructive fraud against Americans. This is yet another evidence in the face of obvious admission that the British territorial government is a democracy, that is, it functions by mob rule. A 51% mandate legalizing murder, for example, is sufficient to condone wholesale homicide in such a vicious and primitive political system as theirs. It must also be faced that the British territorial government has never yet achieved any kind of mandate approaching 51% of the eligible voters, that less than 30% typically turn out in any election year, and that of those a mere plurality of 11 to 12% is what carries their excuse for a vote. Please also note that political parties are foreign to the American system of government, and are evils, very expensive evils, that only arose in this country in the wake of the Civil War. Any American reading this who isn't scandalized, should be. We spend billions of dollars every election cycle for the purpose of electing new slave masters. Every 4 years our country is subjected to mind-numbing public debates that only expose how stupid the political candidates are, how totally corrupt such a government is, and how stupid we are for putting up with it. We pay literally billions of dollars more each year for court services that we do not receive, and on the backside of it, we suffer pillaging, plundering and racketeering to the tune of billions more, to say nothing of the damage done in terms of lost jobs, lost property, broken families, and lost income, as these foreign courts run by the Bar Union deliberately misidentify Americans as federal citizens and attack them as enemies in a war that officially ended, and which we took no part in, over a century ago. We, Americans, do not live in a democracy. We live in 50 Republican states of the Union. The British territorial democracy is subject to our lawful government and runs its concession on delegated authority, and if that is not true, then our run-amok employees need to be fired, and the trustees need to be arrested and subjected to public trials for treason, piracy, and conspiracy against the constitutions. And instead of worrying about Russia or China, we need all firepower we can get focused on London and Rome. Help support this work by visiting www.annavonreitz.com and look for the donate button. Links to this article and more can be found in the video description box.